Hello, everyone. Welcome to a live watch party. We are live on Monday, going live on Monday by request of some of the channel members, John and Melissa. Hopefully, they'll be able to come in. uh, you know, um, Obviously, I've been doing Sundays, but some people can't make Sundays, and Mondays was better. And actually, the last Monday we did when I couldn't do Sunday, actually worked out pretty well. So with the current schedule, it seems like Monday's the better way to go. So we're happy to be here. Gotham Knight. A man can't stand, can't fight. Ooh, yeah. Which reminds me of one of my favorite theories that never was. Like, that didn't happen. Sometimes you have really good theories and the show goes in a different direction. But one of my favorite theories that didn't happen is that in season 4, the All Valley, you all remember, like, Terry Silver was coming back. We had, like, the Quicksilver promo. Man can't stand, he can't fight. We had that Quicksilver promo, and I put out a theory. I said, wait a second, maybe Cobra Kai wins the All Valley, but they win it with the Quicksilver. And what they do is they use, it's like each a different part of the Quicksilver against each different Miyagi person. So a man can't see, he can't fight. That's like Hawk. Hawk's got the eye of a hawk. Blur his vision, take him out. Man can't breathe, he can't fight. Sam had wounds in her, like ribs and stuff. She even talked about when she gets scared, she can't breathe. And then, man can't stand, he can't fight. Of course, that's Miguel, right? Miguel was crippled. He couldn't stand, literally. So, like, what if they attack like his legs or his injury and, knock him out that way? Really cool theory. It was the sort of theory that even my haters were like, damn, that's kind of a cool theory. Like, yeah, everyone thought it was like really cool. And it was. It's not the way the show went. They did the whole Terry Silver bribes the ref or something, but definitely I think the theory of like using Quicksilver in different ways, and I guess maybe they had always had an idea of like, in season 5, Daniel kind of beats Terry Silver with Quicksilver himself, kind of like coming full circle, or his own method used against him. Pedra hits. Hey, your Pedra hits. Can't see you. You're not the first one to not be able to see me, but I'm here. You can hear me. And that's what it's all about. Man can't breathe. He can't fight. It would have made season 4 even better without the bribe and cringe moment of truth. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the bribe, just to be honest with you guys. Like, I get what they were doing. It was tried to be like a Terry Silver thing. Like, Silver's going to do everything he can to win, But honestly, like, I feel like it introduces like skepticism. Like, if the All Valley refs can be bribed, were they ever bribed before? Like, do we go back in history and now question the results of every All Valley? John's here. Hey, John. Thank you for coming on in. Yeah, we're rocking on Monday. If this goes well, maybe we'll stick with Monday for a while. Matt Moore is here. Matt, good evening to you. So there was like a little bit of news. It wasn't even really news. I had seen something and I didn't really pay much attention to it. And Melissa was talking about it in our members stream. But there's some guy, I even forget who, like like he has a paid post. Like you gotta pay him to access it. And it's like, oh, there's a Karate Kid movie in development. Um, and it's very like up in the air. Like, you know, Sony's probably always working on stuff. So, um, some guy coming out and saying there's something in development when certainly nothing was even announced, is very kind of like vague. Um, but like some people were really taking that to mean something. I don't necessarily think it means much. Um, Sony, is probably always developing movies and stuff with their properties, right? So, you know, there's always someone sitting there thinking, let's try and, make something happen with this because that's what they do. So I don't think it necessarily means much. And especially like there was never really any announcement. Some guys just, some quote unquote insider or something. My strong suspicion. So my strong suspicion of what he had um is probably he knows like some agents. They were probably like they're like taking pitches for a movie or something. So that's kind of like what they do. They put the word out. Um like and so like they wanted, take some pitches and see stuff. So you could say like so you could say, yeah, there's a movie in development and it's true. Or at least, theoretically they're working on something, but like it's not exactly like anything's anywhere or anything's ever even been decided. It's just, maybe there's like a producer put out the word, like, someone at Sony's like if you got a pitch, come to us and go ahead and pitch the your story idea. Um like what's this guy's name? Daniel RPK. Yeah, Daniel RPK. So it doesn't really seem to mean much. Um because there's not even like an announcement of any sort. Sometimes they'll even announce like when a deal's done. Like consider like John and Hayden when they announced a new Harold and Kumar movie, right? They all they did is sort of like come together and say, yeah, they agreed, let's make a new Harold and Kumar movie. But they didn't have a script. I mean, maybe they have an idea or they talk some things over, but like it's like all they kind of did is like say, hey, they all agreed, let's do it. So, and who even knows if that'll happen? You hope it does, but the world is mysterious. Bigger fan of Silver buying the Iron Dragon season 6 than the private season 4. I would agree. I think that was pretty cool. And that reveal of Silver in what is it at the end of episode 8? Um in the hot tub. What's life without a few surprises? Oh man, come on. Perfect. If we're getting the Miyagi Prequel, at what point does it start a young Miyagi? Um that's a good question, John. Certainly something we've talked about, a lot. I suspect it would start after World War II. Although you may get flashbacks to younger Miyagi or when he's back in Okinawa, for sure. I think that could happen. But I suspect the main show would probably pick up after World War II. When that Miyagi spinoff happening, everyone been freaking out over a rumor of another Karate Kid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we don't know even who's working on that. Who's the producers behind it? I don't think it's John, Josh, and Hayden. Is it whoever was putting together the last one? They're like, well, let's do something different. And keep in mind the movie that came out last year, the director, he was thinking sequel from the beginning. He had all these ideas and hopes and whatever. Didn't happen. The movie wasn't very successful. Melissa's late. 50 push-ups with her knuckles. DJ Club Rules. You are here. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are doing good. It was a big mistake not involving the Cobra Kai showrunners, not work on Legends. Sony ruined their own movie again. Well, I mean, they were never really involved. Like, they just, like, you gotta realize, like, they made that movie without them. Like, at some point, like, they sent them a draft of the script, and it's like they said they read the script, they gave some notes, they said, "Here's what we think," and that was that. You know, they've talked about being at arm's length of it or something, but it's so stupid. It retconned and you know Jackie Chan, Mr. Han was visiting Mr. Miyagi like back, what was it, before the All Valley and from one of the movies or so, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh man, come on. Like they're just like forcing it in and being like, yeah, it's always been this way. And it just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Sometimes people like it. Sometimes you can do something like that and people are like, yeah, it's good. It'll work. But like you're just like forcing it together. And it was kind of sad. Yeah, new movie in the works. Yep. Explore the character as Terry Silver. He knew he was facing imminent death via terminal cancer. What is the likelihood that he had a post mortem plan? Legacy was important to him. Um, I think maybe he had something in mind at some point, but like, he was trying to build, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was going to be his legacy. And then, the fight happened, the dojo, everything went shit up, and then he just said, screw it, he's going all in. He's going to take him out. Revenge, it's almost the return of season 3 Terry, or I see movie 3 Terry Silver from the 80s. He goes all in on revenge, and that's all. He just puts the last of everything he has left to take out Miyagi Do and Cobra Kai. So it's the way I see it. Don't mind Han being friends with Miyagi at some point. Just wish it was written better. The villains were. Yeah, I know. In the whole where Lee or whatever, he's teaching what's her name's uncle Joshua Jackson like boxing or something. Like it's just like, oh man. Like what a weird like thing. We can tell when something is forced or ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely, John. Thank you. It was forced. It was like we're putting it all together. Agreed. Well said. Thank you. Can you do a review of Michael Jackson movie? It comes out on April 24th. Um, Potentially. What is the I saw something about that, but I haven't followed it closely. I was always a Michael Jackson fan. When the what was it? This is it, or when that movie came out after he died. Um, it was like it was the footage of the rehearsals or something because they were going to put on that show, which I don't know if it was going to be like his last show or whatever, but like they were putting together that really big show, and they released it as like a documentary or something. I remember I went and saw that. Like I saw it in IMAX, I think. Like um that first weekend. That was a good movie. Sad and good. So we'll see. T Flex Champ is here. T Flex Champ, follow him on Instagram. Find him on TikTok. He can train you. Train you. Yep. Yeah. Wasn't it at one point a kid was supposed to teach his dad karate in the original plan? Um, Not his dad, but I think on some level that was still in the movie. It was when he was teaching her dad the boxing, getting him ready, even though he was already like a successful boxer. The whole thing was a little weird, and just like yeah, that was weird. Um, so he trained the dad, and then the dad got injured because they cheated or something or other. Um, if you hadn't seen it, I mean, go back and watch my review of that movie. It was quite good, actually. Just go on the channel and scroll back. That was a very good review. All right, this is a documentary. I don't know. Michael's nephew Jaffer is playing Michael. Would be sick if he could remove them. I'll take a look at it. When does it come out? April 24th. I may be free. I have like I've just been like kind of just busy the past month and a half, and I haven't actually been able to work much on videos, even though I want to. And I have like so many things in my head for this channel and the other one. Um, I think maybe after Easter it'll calm down a little bit. Um, but it's just I don't know. I just feel like I never have the time. And like just today, I was cleaning up our wedding photos and stuff. It's like got that finished, by the way. But yeah. I remember the trailer was included that Mr. Han knew about the All Valley and Sakai Sakai when he spoke with Daniel. I don't remember that in the trailer at all. Um, Not at all. Um, but they had the 5 boroughs, and he didn't even fight in all 5 boroughs. He only fought 4 matches to win $30,000 or whatever. He only fought in 4 of the 5 boroughs. What the hell? It's the 5 boroughs tournament, but we're only fighting in 4 of them. We can't get to the 5th one. I'm sorry, Staten Island. You're out of luck. No one thinks of Staten Island anyway. Come on. The hell. It's barely a borough. Come on. Um, It could have been written that Terry Silver had a contingency plan. If his Iron Dragons didn't win the tournament and he died, a series of events is set in motion intended to drag Daniel to hell. He would come up with one, but I think he was all in on them winning. And in fairness, they were up a hell of a lot. So Sony cut out the hell out of Karate Kid Legends. Maybe, but yeah. Staten Island is considered the country of New York City. Yeah. I think poor Staten Island. No one likes Staten Island. I think the Staten Island ferry is free though. I rode that when I was there. Um so yeah, in general everyone's down on the last movie. Um Word that like something is in development, but like that really means very little. Considering like there wasn't even an announcement. It's some quote unquote insider. Um, he probably just like knows an agent or something and said some people put out the word they're looking for scripts, or pitches, not scripts. I take that back. You know, it's like and the kind of that's what they do a lot, sometimes they'll just hear pitches. They'll say, "Hey, if you have an idea for a Karate Kid movie, come pitch it to us." Now, sometimes there may be a little bit more than that. They may want like a sequel to this movie or something completely different or something that could connect to Cobra Kai. Like maybe there's something a little bit more, but maybe not. Like, mhm. um, is your expectations low for the new Karate Kid film they're working on? I mean, yeah. Um, it's hard to have high expectations. It's not like, I mean, maybe I'm a little cynical. Sometimes you're getting this point. It's like, damn, am I becoming like just an old fart? Like when I was younger, like I remember sometimes I would look at, I'd be around, like I remember I was at the gym once. Maybe I was in college. I guess I was in college. And like there was some older guy, like, I never watch any movies or TV. I don't like that garbage. It's not even worth it. What are you gonna do watching some movie? Who cares? It's just stupid. They're just actors. It doesn't mean anything. I don't watch any of that stuff. I mean, like, and I always thought that was dumb because like he doesn't watch that, but maybe he'll watch sports or do something like I figured like everyone's got something. Like even like I understand if you don't like necessarily like movies, but like it's not like watching basketball and baseball is better than movies or even just like no, I read books, I love reading good fiction, great, like that's great, I like it too, but like you're not like a better person because of that or whatever that particular guy was. But like I remember like sometimes these old people would be like, oh, I don't watch this stuff or it's all dumb or whatever. And me, I at that time, like I was just so into it, like in and anyway, now it's some years have gone by and as you're approaching middle age yourself, and it's like, damn, like what like I just don't like any of this shit. Like they announce something, although I'm convinced it's our current society and culture, it's what's coming out of Hollywood is not as good. There's a lot of excitement around Project Hail Mary because it's kind of genuinely a good movie. It's an original movie. It was well done. I would recommend it. If I get to it, maybe I'll make a video on it. I have I have a few things where I was like, what the hell? Like I don't get it. Like it just there's some moments in it like it just seemed a little dumb to me. But like but overall it's definitely like a good movie. I just listened to today Critical Drinkers interview with what's his name, Andy Weir, the author of the original story. Um but like there's a lot of like just love for that because it's so rare. Like I feel like we used to get movies like that more often. And yeah, we've certainly we're getting sequels and franchises for like fucking decades now. But like there was more originals coming back then. Um and more stuff to just like get you excited. You did get excited. And now, when they announce something and it's like you're not excited. There's a Harry Potter show coming, and I was a very big Harry Potter fan, like many millennials. Really, really liked it. Um, Knew that stuff really well. I had a YouTube channel back in the day, like I would have talked about it a lot. Um, but Harry, this new show, I just have no desire. No desire. At what point does Robert Mark Kamen say stop bastardizing my works? Terry Silver already disrespected his wine company. He probably forgave the Terry Silver disrespecting the wine company because um Terry Silver has very good taste in wine. So it still works as product placement because oh, that's probably really high quality wine if Terry Silver is going for that one. Um, but otherwise, Robert Mark Kamen. Robert Mark Kamen actually seems like a very just real screenwriter in the sense that like he understands. I mean, he's been doing this for decades. He knows the business. He knows Sony's going to do what they're going to do. Like, if they ask him, he'll give an opinion, I suppose. But he also knows they're probably not even going to ask him. Was there ever any talk like the director of that Karate Kid Legends, he once said like, "Oh, I have a lot of respect for Cobra Kai" or something, but like no one ever even said, "Hey, did you ever talk to Robert Mark Kamen and like what he thought or something?" Like it didn't even come up. Curious if he ever even met him. Like I don't know. Like Robert Mark Kamen, but like he's just reality. He's in touch with the reality of the business. He's not like an idealist. Um, is the impression I get from him. Um, so he knows if Sony wants to do something, they're just going to do it. They've done it before, right? And Robert Markaman has his own opinions. Specifically with Miyagi, I think he's a little bit more protective of Miyagi. Um, but other than that, like it is what it is. You said business to business sales territory in Staten Island. Never been there, but I know from experience it's the Turd Nugget Trailer Park District in New York City. They're broke. Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's why the Five Boroughs tournament skipped Staten Island. Like they're just turds. They don't want that shit. You're trying to swap with someone else. Hey, you want to swap territory? You love it. Staten Island's great. um, Good contribution, Matt. I thank you for that. New rumor will focus on Johnny and Mr. Hunt. I don't think there's any plot. You know, as well as I say, there was one small post from some guy who only gives it to his like Patreons and like you got to pay him. Like, come on, stuff like this is like I said, it's not even worth it. Director of Legends never spoke to. As far as I know, I mean, he might have, but like, why? He certainly never brought it up. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the screenwriter did. I don't know. I saw a Facebook post of fan art of a poster with a prequel focusing on Johnny and how he got big with Cobra Kai. They called it First Strike. Cool sequel to see as Miyagi. Yeah. Focusing on kind of like young Johnny or like early teen age Johnny. Could be. Could be. There's a lot going on. Is there going to be a new Karate Kid Legends too? No, I don't think it's a sequel to the movie. Ultimately, like that movie wasn't successful enough, as far as I can tell. It's just rumors. Yeah, American cars made in '70s, early '80s. This is known as the Malaise era. It's generally a sore spot, and cars weren't made well back then. This is where the Hollywood and film industry, dude, like American cars sucked through the '80s, if not early '90s. like, um, I actually don't know much about the '70s, but it's through the '80s, um, even the early '90s. And honestly, I'm not sure they're still good. Having never owned an American car myself. Melissa's here. Bonsai. Bonsai tree. Bonsai tree. Watch party. Have you seen Chosen versus Chuck? Yeah, I've seen it. Fun stuff. Recommend Honda Civic. Yeah, Honda's generally have been a pretty good brand. Um, my dad always buys Toyota, but he's his own guy. Sorry you're late. No worries. No need to apologize. Would you say your thoughts on if the new movie could be a Miyagi prequel? Um, no, I don't. I still don't think that's the way it's going to go because I think John, Josh, and Hayden are working towards the Miyagi prequel, and they want to do it as a streaming series. The movie is going to be something else, and I suspect there's a very good chance they don't even know what the movie is going to be. It's just some producers trying to put something together. Um, Maybe they're taking pitches or something. I don't know. Um, so that's where I think it is. Didn't see Jackie Chan and Johnny Lawrence in the second one. Yeah. I miss Chuck Norris. Yeah, I do too. Wish they kept up seasons 4, 5, and 6. I think it's Johnny. Yeah, I kind of did. Like you thought maybe they were going to or something. Um, but he just kind of topped out, maybe you'd say, with the Eagle Fang van, which was cool. Although when he gets back into Cobra Kai, now the Eagle Fang van feels kind of like what's that? Not redundant, but like out of place. I always assumed he would get back the Cobra Kai mobile. Although I guess, um, Stingray had it at the end. Because like I always thought we were gonna get a cool scene and we got close, right? We got close. Like I thought we were gonna get a cool scene of Johnny taking the Cobra Kai mobile down Ventura Boulevard with with Daniel in the Ford. Um, and they're driving side by side. I thought that would be cool as hell. Like they're driving side by side down Ventura Boulevard. Instead, we got Johnny in the Ford with Daniel. Um, so it was fitting. It was fitting, but I thought that would. Yeah, well, you know, I kind of the vision I had was cooler. I think, although maybe it's harder plot wise because in the show, that scene they're driving down Ventura in the Ford, um, it's to he's taking him to the dojo because he bought it. Daniel and Johnny didn't know that. Sony will always make something either Spider. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're pretty much always going to be like developing something from one of their big properties. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris. Yeah. If he could beat Chosen, that means he can beat most of the Cobra Kai characters. It's true. Sean Cannon was on Walker, Texas Ranger. Cool. Didn't make a season 7 of Cobra Kai. That is correct. If it's a sequel, I hope that Johnny is in it or Johnny and Chosen. Imagine Chosen learning kung fu from Mr. Han. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if Jackie Chan comes back, but please don't bring Jaden Smith back. They already didn't, dude. They already, in fact, they pretended like he didn't exist. For better or worse, I don't know. I would say Mike Barnes and Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah, we needed a Johnny Miyagi Do car, and then he ends the series in a Cobra Kai super truck. See, I think like a Miyagi Do car doesn't fit because Daniel's got his car, and I mean that's the closest you're getting to the Miyagi Do car. Marty Cove, since they creased guest starred on Walker, but they didn't have a fight scene. That's a shame. Sounds like I mean, I could believe a lot of people because Walker Texas Ranger is like one of those shows. I mean, it was on for many, many seasons, a lot of episodes. Each episode is a new set of characters, right? Like it's kind of like Law and Order. It was like almost every actor had been in Law and Order in one way or another at some point. I mean, how many actors at some point like had a guest star? Because it was on like for over 20 some years, had like 4 or 5 versions over like 20, 25 years. God knows, with 1,000 episodes with all this. It's like any actor you've ever seen has had a guest star on Law and Order or something. Yeah. Any actor has been on Law and Order, and certainly anyone who was like up and coming. Like maybe Ralph Macchio wasn't, because he was already established. He picked his roles. But like if you were ever an up and coming, like everyone was always auditioning for a Law and Order at one point or another. Like I knew a guy who had a small guest role. Like he was like a New Yorker guy. Just played some guy talking to the cops, like wearing a trench coat. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just just basically playing himself. He's like older. He was an older guy. Um, Fans were kissed when Jane was retconned. Jane quit acting. Will and Jetta stalled production for so long. Yeah, no, can't blame him. Love to see Terry Silver and Connor Day verse each other. Well, Silver crushes Connor. Come on, like that's not even a thing. Um, was Sean Kanan in Walker, Texas Ranger? That's what we hear. You can check his IMDb. Silent him versus Mike Myers. It would have been funny if Kreese was in Law and Order for biting people. Oh my god. All right, John is a great idea for the next Star Trek movie. Star Trek: The Ferengi take over Wall Street. I was once upon a time I wanted to like dive into the Ferengi rules of acquisition or something. Um, but it was nothing more than like just like a fun idea. How would you do business like a Ferengi or something? Thomasine Griffith should have been a Law and Order villain. Yeah. Plays the villain well. Netflix and Sony partnered with each other. Could they get any of the Cobra Kai teen characters to appear in this movie without any legal problems? Yeah, Sony owns all the rights. Um, if they want any of the kids, all you got to do is sign the actor. So it's not there's no legal problems. Like Sony owns everything. The Karate Kid universe is always owned by Sony. They own the characters and all that. His character is talking a country singer. Boys are looking forward to the new He-Man. Hoping it doesn't suck. Yeah, Peter was saying something about that too, because I just like, I was tweeting. So when we were in the theater to see Project Hail Mary, like I was tweeting and like the trailers, and they played the trailer for the He-Man, and I was like, oh man, like I just don't get like why it can't be set in its own universe. It's like, modern or our world, and then he like crosses over or something. I don't know. I just like I don't get it. Like it doesn't work for me. And it's the same thing they did in the last He-Man movie, which was a bomb. So maybe it'll be something. I don't know. But like it just seems like not not what I would be looking for in a He-Man movie. That's what I say. Kind of like the way Pirates of the Caribbean was never what I was looking for in a pirate movie. But for your boy's sake, I hope it's great. Love Johnny Lawrence. This is Connor. Mary Page Keller was on a few episodes in YPD Blue, if I recall. Yeah, sure. Johnny Lawrence versus Connor. Johnny beats Connor. Connor doesn't beat any of these scumbags, like these guys. Like he's a scumbag. I watched a video of Daniel and Mr. Han teaming up at their least fight, beating Connor's friends in the Five Boroughs. It was epic. Well, basically, they're like, well, if we're going to bring in Ralph Macchio, we got to have him in some sort of pseudo fight. Him and Mr. Han. So, yeah, a little bit of a fight breaks out. Netflix does not own Cobra Kai. All Netflix has is the distribution rights. The broadcast rights, and it's broadcast on the streaming, and they had it for 10 years. So Netflix, their rights end 10 years after the final broadcast. So the final broadcast was what, February 13th of last year, 2025. So their rights as of the contract right now ends February 13th, 2035. That's it. They have the broadcast rights. I said it's really not even distribution. It's like the broadcast, because that's why Sony can still put out the DVDs. But there were rules. They had to wait a year. They had to wait a year. Because Netflix had like an exclusive. Robbie McCauley, hi. Never watched Young and the Restless, but I'd like to believe my boy Shinken was still the bad boy rolling 10 housewives deep. I assume so. Mary Page Keller was on a sitcom called Camp Wilder with Hilary Swank, and Mary and Yuji did a movie together. She's been around, people have been around. On He-Man, fair criticism, and that's what they did wrong in the 80s film for sure. It became a cult classic though. Like, is it really, out of all the cult classics? Like, I've been around people who were into cult classics. Like, none of them ever talked about, what was it, Masters of the Universe, like the He-Man movie. I mean, I guess there's some people out there, and I gotta admit, I haven't seen it since it came out. Like, and I don't really remember, just that it was horrible. But it's like, out of people who watch cult classics, like, that one's kind of low on the list. Like, you can find people who watch old movies that didn't do well, and like, they kind of love them or have a thing for them, the cult classics. But boy, like, there aren't many for that movie. Connor would lose to Anthony, Mitch, Burt, and Kyler. Maybe. Thomas is great in everything for sure. His excessive force is the strongest action film. Hollow Point is the funniest film he's worked on. Yeah, like, he's so talented. Like, he could have been more. Although then, like, they got into screenwriting, like, and he was like writing and producing and such, he had actually moved away from acting and was a very successful writer. And then the big three called him up. All right, hang up the pen. You're no longer writing. You're coming to play Terry Silver. Very good, Melissa. Sony and Netflix have a contract to put out good content. As opposed to Paramount, who can't make a good Star Trek to save his life these days. Yeah, if actually, I mentioned, I just watched the interview with Andy Weir. And he said He's talking about science fiction, modern stuff, and he's like, man, it's like all modern science fiction, everything is derivative or influenced by Star Trek, with the only exception of modern Star Trek. It's like, it's so true. Um, it's so true. Jeff Speakman needs to be in these spinoffs. Very underrated martial artist. Could have been up there with Chuck Norris. Look him up. Well, that's like when everyone wants the guy from, I forget his name, the Kicking It. And one time, like, Drew had like some video. Oh, he's gonna be in season 3 or season 4 or something. Um, got like 200,000 movies. It's like, no, he's not. But I forget that guy's name. Didn't really watch the show. I don't know it, but yeah. What episode was that? He-Man with Dolph Lundgren is a cult classic too. That's what he's talking about. That one, the one with Dolph Lundgren. So does this mean we get Wolf in this new movie as a possibility right now? I mean, sure, but like someone's got to write it, do it, approve it. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're just doing something original. Whatever. I wonder what the graphics will look like when Prince Adam says, "By the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, I am He-Man." Is it great or is it Castle Grayskull? Is it Castle Grayskull? I had that when I was young. Like the funny thing is, like He-Man was a little before me, but like I knew it. It was like residual, and I did have like a Castle Grayskull toy thing. The whole thing you can open up or whatever. Leo Howard, that was it. Leo Howard, yeah. I'll never forget. Like he had like a dinner with Jesse Cove, and this is like it's like, and then Drew's putting out a video like Leo Howard may be in Cobra Kai, and it's like, no, not really. That's not how it works. But you know what? You get views, so who the fuck cares? Good job. It is understandable. Chosen was a bad guy. Is probably why he lost to Chuck. It makes sense. It's hard for evil to defeat Chuck Norris. Sensei Wolf and Connor Day versus Johnny Lawrence and Lee Fong. Johnny and Lee, I guess, pretty obviously. They win. Jeff Speakman was best in first movie, was the perfect weapon. That's the title, like the dragon is with Bruce Lee. Thomas even wrote Lorenzo Lamas' early 90s film called Night of the Warrior. Oh man, Lorenzo Lamas. Remember him, guys? He was on Renegade. I used to love that show with my sister. My sister and I used to watch Renegade. And Bobby Six Killer. That was a good movie. Or a show. Fun. We don't get stuff like that anymore. Lorenzo Lamas. Do you know Lorenzo Lamas showed back up on a reality show called Hot or Not? I know this because I used to watch it with my friend. We just like, it was on like Sunday nights and we just watched it after whatever the hell we were watching before, Star Trek or something. And it's like Lorenzo Lamas with the laser pointer. Skeletor in the 80s film was well acted. It scared the crap out of me as a young child when it came out. Frank Langella played that character like Heath Ledger played Joker. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. There's nothing like more heartbreaking than like a really great actor, a really great performance in a bad movie. Like, because that's like, oh man, like this could have been like really, really good, but instead it's kind of wasted. So yeah. I get that they brought Patrick Lewis because he's tall, but Leo Howard would make a good Axel. Maybe. He may be a little older now. I don't even know how old he is. Like Maybe he, you know, outgrew it or something. It's been long since we got any Karate Kid news, so it's kind of nice to hear. Well, that's true. Martin Kova's on Renegade. I'll believe it. He was evil in Karate Kid Part 2 and in Walker, Texas Ranger. Chosen was, yeah. Yuji plays the bad guy. But then he turned around and came along. And then Cobra Kai ended up on the right side. Jeff Speakman retired from acting. Chosen can beat Connor Day. Yes, I would agree with that. Connor Day is nothing on Chosen. Thank you, John. Next time, if I don't get fired for signing a contract with Duncan insured of Krispy Kreme, I don't even know. Just have all the donuts, man. Just have all the donuts and the coffee. Thank you for coming, John. Thank you for the support on the channel. He still lose though. Yeah, he did. Was in American Yakuza with Viggo Mortensen. Yuji played a Yakuza member. It was a weird period for Chosen. Yeah, he goes. He had his periods there and back. But you know what? But he's got his restaurant now up in the Seattle area. So he's successful. He can he can afford to just take the roles he wants to do. And it was great. He came back for Cobra Kai. It was great. Capped out his character, did something good with it. Um, you know, extended it. I mean, I think that's something he could be proud of. Who Chosen? Yeah. Chosen, i.e., UG. Um, we'll see. I'll be going back up to Seattle pretty soon, in like a couple weeks. So I don't know if we'll eat there though. Actually, the schedule's kind of set. So, but Daniel LaRusso versus Li Feng. Man, you're just throwing every combo out there. Obviously, Daniel wins, but like Daniel's not going to want to fight Lee, so it's like that's like the thing. So Daniel forfeits. He's not going to want to fight. Like he's not going to fight a kid, even if he had reason. But I don't consider that a forfeit. That's just I choose not to participate. I'm not getting involved in your fight. So Daniel doesn't lose. See, I'm not a Daniel hater. I'm just being real. Yeah, just be real. Raul Julia as M. Bison was great. Great villains go a long way. Yeah. I kind of liked what's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme in that movie too, as Guile. I mean, yeah, Raul Julia was great, but Jean-Claude Van Damme was fun too. A character competed Sakai Taka or won an all valid title, they could beat Connor. Pretty much, yeah. I'm glad that Chosen is on Daniel's side to help him beat Cobra Kai. Sato Miyagi got attention in the Karate Kid too. But in the movie, when Sato Miyagi became friends again, it's amazing. Yeah, it is. And Sato, unfortunately, he had died, but he had a happy ending. If you remember in season 3, episode 4, we got a little bit of that. How he helped save Tomi Village. In the end, he really redeemed himself. He saved Tomi Village. And young Sato was a great flashback there. in season 5, episode 2. Young Sato, very good. Scott Adkins and Michael J. White doing the spinoffs. Not a fan of Daniel. Raw Julia made Street Fighter. No. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll probably have to wrap it up. I need to get to bed too. Wife party's waiting for me, actually. So, do you think it's possible Connor could join the Iron Dragons because of Axel quitting? It could be. That would be like something you could do in the future if you wanted to continue mixing those universes. That's definitely possible. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming out, talking Cobra Kai, talking Karate Kid. The love doesn't die. Videos will come eventually. I'll get back on it. Cynthia Rothrock mentioned her on the show. She's a legend, yeah. She's a female queen of martial arts. Yep. Wish never happened. Yeah, I chose and lost. It was sad, man. All right. I love you all. Thank you for coming. Have a great day. I'll see you at the next watch party.